When we engage students where they're motivated, it helps them to connect with the material and the content, and it makes it more personal. It also means that they are more likely to hold on to that content, hold on to those skills, because it's something that they've taken in for themselves. My name is Annika Chambers, and I'm an interventionist with the Tennessee Department of Education. So universal design for learning is actually, it can be broken up into 3 different parts, and we can think of it as motivation. How do we motivate students? And there is also the idea of how do we represent the content? And then how do we show demonstration of mastery of their understanding? Under motivation, we can look at things like learner profiles, which includes their learning styles, data about who they are as students and how they learn best. We can talk about growth mindset, and we can also talk about that data-informed instruction. Under the representation of content, we need to think about how are we presenting content to students. Are we doing it in different ways instead of just reading or writing? Can we show it visually? Can we hear things? And so that's really going into what we talk about with differentiation. And then we can also discuss differentiation under the idea of demonstration. We can also use intentional interventions when students need additional supports.
I think the most important thing for students and teachers is for teachers to develop a relationship. That relationship is key to everything that I do, whether it's setting procedures or talking to students about behavior and even planning curriculum. I'm Dr. Star Wallace. I teach 1st grade at Poplar Grove Elementary School in Franklin, Tennessee. Positive behavior reinforcement is something that I really believe in, and I think that it's the best way to improve student behavior. By pointing out what they do well and reinforcing that, they want to do more of what's right. And students around them that may be a little off task immediately straighten up to say, "Ooh, I want to be responsible, I want to be respectful on the carpet," so everyone else follows suit.
So what we have found with teachers who focus on UDL is that they are looking through their best practices in a different light. They're trying to see it with a fresh set of eyes. And what happens there is that they are seeing that while they're doing best practices, they might not be doing best practices for every student. And this is a way for them to see how to specifically work for every student and individualize that support for everyone. This really helps them because you're able to identify where they are at and meet their needs from where they are and build them to where they need to be.
I try to incorporate as much choice as possible into our daily lives at school. You might think, how many choices can you really give a 1st grader and that they can be successful with, but they really can handle it and they can manage it well, and it's a very motivating thing for students. I feel like they were way more engaged in the project and they bought in really quickly when it was all their idea. I think it's important to establish student voice in learning because it's important for the students to take ownership. I'm the type of teacher that likes to get the students involved. I think in a classroom where only the teacher is doing the talking, there might not be as much learning taking place. I'd much rather for the students to be engaged with each other in collaborative conversations where they can learn from each other.
I find in my classroom it's important to establish relationships with my students by setting good, understandable goals. If they know what to do, what they're expected to do, they can have a better chance of doing it. My name is Lee Usry. I teach 7th grade reading and English language arts here at Martin Middle School. A KUD, simply put, is a know, understand, and do. The know is what I expect them to know either before the lesson starts or the vocabulary we're going to learn. It's just the nuts and bolts of the actual lesson. The understand is what I hope they can take with them into further lessons, even life itself. And the do is what we're actually going to do to meet the goal of the lesson.
Hello, my name is Dana Johnson, the West Tennessee Special Education Interventionist. When you're thinking about differentiation and content specifically, you're thinking about what you want your students to know. You're thinking about how to use data in order to know what they already know and then expand on that.
KUD helps differentiation of instruction because everybody's starting at a different level of know. So that is that first primary block where I can hopefully fill in the gaps with the vocabulary and the building blocks of the lesson. The understand is again our ultimate goal. I can check their understanding based on where they are. And then the do, even though I am expecting them to do primarily the same tasks, you can modify the do individually as you go as well. We use a lot of accountable talk. I use a lot of tell me more. I'm trying to get a deeper understanding for my students. They learn so well from themselves and what their ideas are that we try to maximize that whenever possible.
When a teacher uses data to inform a KUD, they are looking to get more insight into the knowledge and the understanding. They use their data to differentiate based on where their students are starting and where they want their students to go. When you're looking at process under the KUD, you're looking at what you're asking a student to do. They need to know the big ideas and the principles of any type of content and the standard that you're asking them to show you in a product.
It's just knowing who they are, what they can do, and what their strengths are, and how to play to that in the lesson.